Yo, yo, yo. Hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you with my boy Patrick Bell. Pat, baby, are you there, bud?
I'm here. How's everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing
Hey. Sure, they're doing good. Tell you what, let's open up a couple lines. And for those of you listening, guys, some of you are probably on, one of your first calls, and then some of you have been here for a number of weeks. So the situation is that we need you guys to participate and ask questions. So if you could do us a favor, either plunk the question into the chat box or raise your hand, and then we will open you up. And a little FYI, Pat and I have our certified call at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern, which that's our invitation only program that some of you guys are in and some of you guys won't be. But it's our invitation only program. So we are going to need to finish this off at 12:50 Pacific or 3:50 Eastern, just as an FYI. So 10 minutes before the hour, at a minimum, we will be jetting out. So that being said, I'm going to open up a couple lines, but again, we need some questions and whatnot to get this thing rolling. So if you can put up your hand or check up a question in the box, that'll be great. And before we do that, we're going to open up a couple folks and say hello. Ron Mathos, I haven't heard from him in a while. Yo, Ron, we're coming for you, buddy. You were self-muted, my friend. There he is. Ron, you are live.
Hi there. Good to hear. I'm so excited about this new software.
You beauty. Yeah, look out. Put your seatbelt on, buddy. Put your seatbelt on. Have you been using it, Ron?
We're getting ready to. We're in the final stages of our developing customers right now. We're focusing on certain target markets, and we're about ready to contact folks with proposals. So we're getting close.
Beauty, that's what we like to hear, man. Wanted real quick, Ron, while I'm waiting for some questions, you've got a bit of an interesting business model. Do you want to explain to everybody kind of what you do and how you do it?
Yeah, well, let's see here. I'll explain it to you a couple of different ways. One is we are building a network of leads in our target markets, and we are basically doing things on a weekly basis to create value for them. Like we've been producing videos, and
Yep.
these videos contain gold nugget ideas on how to improve your performance of your small business. And the other side that's a little unusual is our offering is following Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And basically, we lead often with the financial guarantees of improving profitability in 6 to 8 months, which you guys know all well about. But we also have another cluster of offerings that are more affirming how to change your mindset, to improve performance, because so much of your capacity to improve performance is in your mind. And by improving your mind, and we have a team of people developing an offering there, we basically are making the case that you improve innovation, you improve your ability to strategize your business. You're expanding your awareness, and the more you expand your awareness, the more you build your capacity to think and act. So
Yep.
is that where what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's cool. But do you use mind maps at all?
We use mind maps a little bit. One of the techniques, though, we're working with a company called Vibonics, and we do a self-assessment with Vibonics.
Yep.
And believe it or not, in 100 seconds, you can count to a 100, and that voice frequency, based on technology, they basically can contain your internal mind operating system. But about 26 different categories. It tells you how you're doing at that moment, and from that, you can then set objectives in terms of what you want to improve. Like it could be conflict resolution, it could be teamwork, it could be leadership, et cetera, et cetera. How's that?
It sounds cool. I like that idea. Bringing the voice into it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Tone of the voice.
I can tell you, I'll give you a little tease. This all started way back, I think in Denmark, back in the early 1900s for violins. People realized the experts could listen to the play of a violin and determine whether it was at a high level of performance. And they took that idea from way back there and have made it much more interesting. Your capabilities are much broader. And believe it or not, you can count to 100 and you can tell incredible stories about where you are at that moment.
Wow. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, you still with us or did you drop out?
Oh, sorry. I was trying to. I had myself on mute. I've been talking. I'm like, everyone's ignoring me. Hey, Ron, do you know who Tom Cavanaugh is? Do you know that name?
It sounds familiar. Tell me more.
Yeah, he's one of our clients, but he's a heavyweight in the NLP world. He teaches he teaches some super high end NLP, and then also what do you refer to that photo reading? I believe it is, and mind maps. Anyway, so he teaches all that stuff, and he's a gun, that's for sure. Anyways, that's why I was interested if you're using mind maps. So there you go. Cool. Anyways, very cool. Ron,
I'll say one more thing. We're using assessments all over the place. We're developing all sorts of cool technology. Be happy to share it with you, Carl, sometime. But before we make our proposals, we have people going through business assessments.
Yep, love it. And theory behind that is what? Is to establish their personality type, or what's the theory behind that?
Well, from that assessment, we can basically identify how these businesses perform versus industry norms. And we can come back and know where the key gaps are, prioritize gaps. And from the gaps, we can then make proposals and create value.
Oh, cool. Well, look at this. My boy Tom, actually, hang on a second. He is here. Photo reading. Hang on a second. Here he is. Okay, hang on, Tom. I'm coming for you, man. Just hang on a second. I'm gonna put up my boy Tom. I didn't realize he was here. There you go, Tom. How's it going? I've just made you famous. I didn't realize you were here.
Hi, Carl. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. See, so did you get it? How long have you been on? Have you heard what Ron's been talking about with this process?
No, I just got on. I had a little bit of a challenge getting connected, but I just heard you mention my name as I was getting on.
Oh, did you? Well, there you go. Good timing. Anyways, no. So Ron, just in a nutshell, he's got they go pretty deep with, just analyzing, where these guys are at and helping them, move out of their own way. And I was just mentioning that he may have heard of you.
Carl, you're cutting in and out there.
Oh, am I? Oh, gosh. Anyway, so yeah. So Tom, that's kind of what we were going through. So that's it in a nutshell. In fact, while we got you open, do you want to, why don't you give us a real quick 101 on Tom and what you teach and kind of what we talked about over the last couple of days?
Sure.
Are you cool with that?
Sure, absolutely. So I teach the photo reading whole mind system, which is teaching people how to absorb information from a book at speeds of 1 page per second. So that's about 25,000 words a minute. In context, the average reader reads about 300 words a minute. If you were to take a speed reading course, say, you're going to get maybe about, best you could probably do is around 5,000 words a minute. So we start you at 25,000 words a minute because it's a subconscious system, not a conscious reading system. And then we teach mind mapping as a way of visually representing information on a single piece of paper, the way that your brain would create the map of how you remember the information so it's more easily recalled. It's the greatest study skill in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Photo reading is the greatest learning skill in the world. And then, of course, we have Brain Gym, which is a way to synchronize the mind with the physical structure of the body. I teach 5 other processes, but these are the main ones that you're looking for here. When you were talking about the breakthroughs, the executive breakthrough session that I do is essentially it's a verbal vacuuming of the mind. So when they're done, there aren't any more problems. They've transcended the glass ceiling of their limitations, and they have no more limiting decisions that are ruining their world or trying to regulate their world. In a nutshell, that's it.
What did you call it? What vacuum? Say that again. What was it? What was the vacuum?
Verbally vacuuming the mind.
Pat, I think I could use that. What do you think? Sounds like a good idea. Tom, sign me up. Yeah, exactly. I could use some vacuuming right here. That's awesome, Tom. Well, look, it's an honor to have you here, man. And like I said, do you know, Tom, did I ask you, do you know Terry Levine? Did you teach her?
I know of Terry Levine. I do not know Terry Levine personally.
Okay. I thought you might have taught her photo reading, but anyways, very interesting. Well, there you go. You're a legend of a guy, Tom. We love having you on board.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
You bet. Awesome.
Hey,
okay, I'm going to push the. Oh, sorry. Yep. Go, Pat. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, quick story about photo reading. I'd heard about it years ago. And for the coaches that don't know, I was 12 years in Japan, and my kids were all born and raised there. We say made in Japan, high quality.
Oh, really?
And they went to Japanese public school. So we left Japan in 2007. My oldest son, Sam, who's now producing a lot of the videos for Leader, he was 8 years old or 7 years old. We moved to Kenya into an international school, and he couldn't read in English because he was used to reading in Japanese. And so he was so overwhelmed and threatened by the idea of reading in English. He just couldn't do it. And so I studied a little bit about photo reading, and so I made him do this. And I said, Sam, I want you to look at each page on this book, and for 1 second, that's all you get. You get 1 second per page. We went through this short little kid's book. I closed the book and I said, tell me the story. And he told me the story, like probably 80% accuracy. And I'm like, there you go. And he took off reading so quick that it just broke all those boundaries. So I'm a believer in photo reading as well, because it's really made a difference in the lives of at least Sam and our family. So well done, Tom.
Yeah, wow. Does he still do it? Does he still do it?
No, we're not. I mean, I think it's probably a habit that'd be a good habit, but something that I would teach my university kids as well as I've studying, and my kids as they're in university, is before you read a chapter, just photo read it like that chapter. You just go through 1 second per page. That's all in your subconscious now. And when you go and read it in more detail, you've already studied it once, and your retention rate and your comprehension will be much higher. So I think it's a great process.
Absolutely.
Love it. Adrian, or Pat, you do mind, like Tom's also an expert in mind mapping. Do you mind maps? You know a thing or two about that, do you not?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You've played with that a fair bit, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
The whole center is mine.
There you go. Always interesting. Always interesting. We got a eclectic crew here, team. Good fun. Okay, Tom, cool, man. Anything else, Tom, here before we put you on mute, buddy?
I'm just happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to all the learning that you guys are willing to share. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, I'm going to put you back on mute. And guys, actually, funny story. So how I got, Tom and I were chatting, and then I was talking about a buddy of mine who's like a real heavyweight. And what does he do? He does PTSD for business owners. And he's an ex-Marine. He's a big, real good-looking guy. He's 6'2" and just like built like he's a big guy, right? Anyway, he's pretty smooth. He has an aura about him. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got a buddy who does PTSD for business owners, Daryl Hill. And he's like, oh, Daryl. He goes, do you know who he learned from? And I'm like, no, I don't know, but it must have been somebody good, because he's as far as I know, he's like, one of the number one guys in the world. And Tom's like, oh yeah, I taught him. He's one of my students. So I'm like, oh, okay, there you go. You're a heavyweight. So anyway, so that's how we got off on all that. So very interesting. So software though, guys, we're not here to talk about mind mapping and photo reading. What we are here to do is talk about profit acceleration software. So I need some questions, guys. If you got a question for us, you got to put it in the box. what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a couple of my buddies here, but let's get some, and this always happens, guys. We get a couple questions going and then the questions start flowing. So if you guys could do me a favor and get those questions in sooner than later, that would be great. Who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to my buddy Christine, who always got something interesting to say. So Christine, we are going to open you up. You are self-muted though. So if you'd like to say hello, you got to unmute yourself. There she is, Christine. You are live. Hey.
Thank you. And this was one time I'm saying, oh, gee, I don't have a question to ask today, so I'm just going to listen. But I will come up with a question. Do you have and maybe we're going to talk about this on the next call, but do you have a particular way of using the software with coaches that you want to bring onto your team?
No, not really. I mean, just let the software do the work for you. I mean, what you'd be doing is you'd be, just put it, like, if you take the software and you put it in front of a coach or somebody who's looking, that's, make 80 grand last year, as an arbitrary number to throw out, and looking to get 150 grand. I mean, you just let the software do the work and, do a screen share exactly the way Pat's doing right now and kind of walk them through, the software and some of the magic of it. That's exactly what I would do.
Oh, okay. So, because I'm going to be approaching like commercial brokers, real estate brokers, and so that I could, like introduce myself and then sort of ask them about, ask them if they would be interested in making more money than what they've done or something like that. So
you can do that, but I mean that approach. I don't know how far that's going to get you, right? What you really want to do is you want to speak to 3 of these guys or gals, and you want to say, what's the number one problem you currently face? And then that's what you speak to them about, right? So in an example, like if you go to an accountant, the challenge, like you go to an accountant and say, do you want to make more money, and just expect to hear a dial tone, right? So what you do is you go to an accountant, if you understand their business, the challenge that they have is that businesses come in, they come to see them 3 months after the year is over, rush, spend roughly $2,000 with the accountant, and everybody does the same thing. So this is where we, tax season, we call it, right? So the accountant is so busy for 3 months of the year, the guy literally can't get home to have dinner with his family, right? So so that's the number one problem. It's not the number one problem, it's top 3 for an accountant. So you go to them and talk about solving that. Now you got them. And then the question is, well, how do you solve that? And the way that you solve it very simply is that you say, well, look, don't send everybody to me. Just send me a few folks, right? Like send me 3 folks. And what I will do is I will personally work with those business owners, and I will personally guarantee that they come in at least, twice throughout the year, but more probably 4 times to 12 times a year. So they're going to spend over twice, significantly more with you, like twice as much, plus with you, and you'll be doing the actual work that you want. And the 3 businesses that you send my way will not be part of that logjam because you'll have their financials. You're working with them throughout the year. You won't have that massive rush, so you won't have it. So basically, that's what you do. And the account, you will say that to the accountant. And part of the magic of what I just said is that you say, take me for a test drive. Okay, so you don't say send me everybody you've ever met. You say take me for a test drive, and you go from there. So that, but you understand, you see the way I didn't go to an accountant and say, hey, I'm going to make you a lot of money. I went to the accountant understanding the number, like a massive problem that he or she has, and then I present myself as the solution. That's how you get a joint venture done.
So that was, if you want, what I used to say format, if I was looking to have that accountant come on as a coach, and then would I then sort of frame it where, you could do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay. So the answer is yes. And what you do, the challenge another challenge that the accountant has, and the way you position that is that they're doing consulting and they're doing it for free, and it annoys the heck out of them. And their fees are roughly $2,000 a year, and they should be $25,000 a year. Like business is just math, the end. So if they have a $25,000 unit of sale, they're going to have a significantly more successful accounting business So that's the way you position that. But they're doing consulting and they're doing it for free, and it annoys the crap out of them. So this is a way that we can help them get paid handsomely for that activity.
Right. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. So and then within that context, I would show them the profit acceleration software and how it works. And
That's part of, absolutely. But do understand that the software is a tool, right? It's not, remember, the conversation in their head. Like, let's just go the average person in business. What they really want to do is they want to make $100,000 a year calling their own shots. Like that's like internet business coach, an accountant, whatever it is. They want to, and by the way, some want to make $250,000, but let's just use, when somebody gets started in business, they've got this dream to be able to make 6 figures, and then be able to call their own shots and have time freedom and whatnot. So that's what you sell them. They don't buy software, they buy that, and then the software helps them get there.
Perfect. Right. Okay. Perfect.
Like it's like if you and I are going to Mexico, we don't sell a plane ride. We sell the beach, the ocean, the sun, the cool people, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the airplane is just the way we get there. It's just completely irrelevant.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Actually, it's not irrelevant, but you get the idea. You could talk first class then, and then it's on another level. But anyways, but that's it. I hope that helps. Does that make sense?
You like? Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you very much.
Just always remember, it's you're seeking problems and presenting solutions. Always. That's what we want to do. Cool bananas?
Right. No matter kind of what the end result is for them, whether they.
Yep, that's it. Because they want to make $100,000 a year and call their own shots. That's what you sell them, right? That's the equivalent of the trip to Mexico. It's the beach, the ocean, and whatnot. It's not the airplane ride. Make sense?
Right.
The software is the airplane ride.
Gotcha.
But it's a bloody powerful airplane ride, right? But it's not. They don't buy software. They buy the result of the software. Cool bananas?
I got it. Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you very
cool.
much.
I'm going to put you back on mute. You're welcome, Christine. Always good feedback. Hey. Guess who we have got, ladies and gentlemen? None other than my boy, Big Al. Big Al even has his hand up. What a legend. So let's see what he has to say. You're self-muted there, champ. You got to unmute yourself. Big Al, I'm coming for you there, buddy. Yeah, you got to unmute yourself, and I would direct you on exactly how to do that, but strangely, I'm not 100% sure what it looks like from that end. Okay, so Big Al, we're going to come to you after, man. Work out how to unmute yourself. And next we've got Owen. Owen, we are coming for you, buddy. There you are. Owen, you are live.
I know how to use the mute button. Thanks, Carl.
No worries. How's it going?
Good. I've just started a JV relationship with a learning and development company, and I got the first email from them saying the first one is sales training. They've got a client who wants to do some sales training. They're looking to, I think it looks like, teach their staff, empower them, show them importance of relationships, and how to become problem solvers. Do you have any suggestions about how I approach the discovery call, which I've got with them on Friday to find out?
Okay, kind of like I go in the same direction. Like I want to understand, the problem that they're currently facing, and then solve it. My instincts are that one of the things that they might be looking to do is, there's a pretty good chance a business like that, they're actually looking to increase revenues. So again, become that solution, like the problem, that's their problem, and you could solve that. The accountant tends to be a little bit different than that, both personality-wise and business model-wise. Talk to me. What kind of business learning? Like, how much do you know about it? Can you explain further what they do?
The company that's actually who wants the sales. So this learning development is sort of going to be using me as a teacher, as it were, in some of the things they're going to be offering. And company that the end client here is a translation company.
Yeah. So are their clients businesses?
Yeah, I've got to believe they will be businesses. I've looked at their website, and it does look like it's.
That's super important, right? Like if their clients are, if they're B2C, very different approach than their B2B. But let's assume that they're B2B, like you assume that. So And I think by going to their website, you should be able to work that out pretty quick. But if they're B2B, then, you know, you're a solution to all of their business owners. Like, imagine if they could, like, look, a metaphor. Okay, let me just give you an example of another industry that we understand well, and then you can see how it can work with them. But let's say that this was a promotional company and they sell golf balls and mugs and that sort of thing. Okay, so imagine like you are going to go in and let's say their average unit of sale is $5,000. Okay, so people come in and they buy the golf balls and the T-shirts and everything else, and their unit of sale is $5,000. Well, we know if we can supersize that, right? Like go from $5,000 to 7,500. That can make a huge impact on their business over 12 months, right? Well, how do they do that? You say, well, look, they've got Owen in their back pocket, and you've got the talents to be able to find any business owner $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. So their salespeople are armed with, okay, beautiful. Your offer is what? Or sorry, your order is $5,000. Look, Lucy, if you, I'm not sure if you know this about us, but if you expand your order and you go to 7,500 on all $7,500 orders and above, what we do is we've got this, you know, our in-house expert, Owen Jenkins, and what we do is he can find anybody $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending a dollar on marketing or advertising. He's got some whiz-bang proprietary software, and I don't understand exactly how it works, but I know it's got 497 million weighted algorithmic sequences, and quite frankly, he's run me through it. Literally blew my mind. But I've seen it live, and we've had it with many of our clients where he will actually find you $100,000 in 45 minutes. So if you up your order to 7,500, I can throw in Owen and, you know, plan to book an hour so you get enough time. But Owen will show up and he will deliver that for you. Could you see how you could frame that up?
Yeah, so that's definitely a good approach for the JV, because I've only just had one call with them and we didn't really cover a lot of information. Talk conceptually and to see if we got on with each other. So I'm definitely going to have to talk to her in more detail about what I'm offering.
Yeah, and there you go. But that's an example how he can, you know, they can bundle you in. It increases their unit of sale. They throw them over to you. Some people are going to buy and some people aren't. Like you're going to do some free assessments and others are going to say, wow, sign me up. Like I need this help. And they're going to be thanking these guys forever. It's the way it is, you know. Then picture the accountants and you know, pretty much anybody else.
Yeah, I showed them.
So presuming they're B2B, that's an example. Pat, before I shut off, any thoughts, agree, disagree, or any other thoughts?
I'm sorry, Carl. I was chatting with Adrian on the side to sort out some other things.
Oh, that's okay. We're talking JVs. It's all good. So, Owen, does that help, buddy? What do you think? Any questions or any further thoughts?
There's a sales aspect to the profit acceleration software as well. Do you see that potentially being a good way to go through as well if they're focused on their sales team, if I need to address that challenge first?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's just a throw in, like, here's something else that I can do with them for you.
Yeah. Cause
right? Like at the end of the day, Owen, we have a superpower, make no mistake about it, right? Like Superman could fly and, you know, leap tall buildings. We have the ability to sit with a business owner and show them the 12, like, you know, Pat, Adrian, and I, we've been doing this a long time. Like, you know, collectively add up our, you know, we got decades and decades and decades of experience. Well, through that experience, we've identified the exact 12 areas that we would go to. And don't think that we just picked those 12 areas. Like they weren't, you know, 100% obvious to us, right? We went through and went, what are the areas that we could go through with every single business owner and basically put money into their bank account? And we've come up with those 12 areas. So if you really think about the software, if you took everything from the software away and you just went back there and we gave you the 12 areas that you'll see, and look, we're looking at the Profit Jumpstart, right? Like they're listed right there on the left-hand side: market dominating position, leads, alliances, and joint ventures, etc. Like those are the 12 key areas that you'll walk in and put money into any business owner's bank account, right? Like that knowledge alone is worth its weight in gold. You know what I mean? So that's your superpower. So, you know, and use it is what I'm trying to say.
Thanks.
Like it? Make sense?
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I've shown them a screen on this, and they're very impressed. Everybody who sees this is very impressed.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like I said, it's and like I said, and it's not. Remember what I said earlier to Christine, though, right? Like again, the software is a tool, right? So what you're selling them is a roadmap step by step that they're going to be able to follow to put money into their bank accounts. Like that. Remember, that's the result. The software is the airplane, but we want to sell them Mexico, and Mexico is the result of the software, which is more money in everybody's bank account. Right. So just really, dial in and I think focus on that. And I think life becomes a lot easier. That's our superpower, is to put money in people's bank accounts. The end. Cool bananas?
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome, Owen. Appreciate you, buddy. Una, we are actually, hang on, let me try Big Al. Big Al, can we open you up, buddy? Okay, you're still self-muted, champ. Gotta unmute yourself. That's all right, Big Al. We're gonna work that out, man, and we'll come back to you later. Una, we are coming for you. Una, same thing. You are self-muted. You gotta unmute you. There she is. Una, how you doing?
Hello, good evening. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Okay, so I've been working on setting up some of my PAS sessions, kind of primarily as practices, but also hoping to pick up some clients along the way. I've got two interesting ones that I've signed up. One is a charity. They actually get most of their funding. I've done the 10 questions marketing audit with them all. So from that, they get most of their money from the local authorities here. And then they do have some fundraising as well. And they've now, because they deal in the area of mental health, and they're also now launching a training section where they plan for that to be an income earner for them as well. Where they do the mental health first aid training. I don't know if you have that in the US or Canada. So yeah, I'm just kind of trying to figure out, with it being a charity and not being a normal kind of business to business or business to consumer, it's a bit interesting, because obviously the most leverage they've got is in being able to get more funding, but that's something that is shrinking, and I could see could be shrinking more because of how much money the government has had to spend bailing everybody out, and they're probably going to cut those kinds of things going forward.
Which more the reason why they need you, by the way.
Right.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Make sure you remind them of that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a bit like, all right, where do I focus on then in my session with them? What would you suggest?
Okay, so let me just tell you some strategies that work well for nonprofit. Like, as an example, you go to a nonprofit, and then they go to, let's just say, a local magazine, right? And the local magazine, they really sell advertising and readership.
Yeah.
So they go to the local radio station, and because the charity can get a lot of people to work for free, which is the kind of premise behind where I'm going here. So people will knock on doors, and people will do cold calls on behalf of it. They'll never do it for themselves, but they'll do it for the charity, right? Blow your mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what they do is they go to the, the local magazine, and then the local magazine gives them X, like, let's say 1,000 subscriptions, right? And let's say that they're, $100 for the year, like that's $100,000 of revenue. So what happens is the magazine donates the subscriptions to the charity. The charity get on the horn, and then they're selling the magazine, but they get to keep all of the money. But the magazine wins because it gets the readership and the advertising revenue. And then the charity does well because they've got, let's assume that it's a good magazine and a known magazine in the area or whatever, right? Yeah. Or there's an event coming up, right? So it's the local football game. The local football team donates X number of tickets. Yeah, so that becomes their strategy. So now they're on the phone, and their job is to, get business owners on the horn, willing to, throw things in. But it's a great promotional tool for the business, because, like I said, like the football game gets more people, and that's really what they're in the, and there's more people at the stadium. Obviously, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's there's a home run.
Carl,
What's up, that?
news we've got is that it is a local charity, and
Yep.
we're in one of the worst areas of the UK, so we're in lockdown again, and will be for it's going to be a good 6 months at least, if not a year, before things get back to normal. So
Crazy.
so yeah, I could see the magazine thing working. Anything to do with in-person events is going to be really challenging.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. So you're going to go to the magazine, but remember, 6 months is going to go by fast, and then we're going to be back to normal, right? So just keep that in mind. But what I want you to understand is, no doubt, I think I heard the hamsters running over there. Like, you see the opportunity, like that becomes their job, right? And then it's presented. But again, the magazine wins big time, right? So there you go. That's how I do it.
Okay, cool, good, thank you.
That's cool. Pat, before we shut her down or meet her up, any thoughts like that?
Yeah,
What do you think?
some things. I mean, the whole area of drip campaign is really important as you're looking at helping a charity or a nonprofit as well, because they're going to reach out to people that are potential donors. But if they can reach out, of course, with compelling stories, things like that, through a drip campaign, it's really important that to do that, both maybe on direct mail, email, and also on social media, reaching out through social media with just posts and things like that. So I would really address drip campaign. I'd also address, of course, the whole area of digital marketing is really important for nonprofits and charities. And I would think about their market dominating position, not in the sense of how they're trying to dominate a market, but what is it that they're trying to communicate that would make a prospective donor just kind of stop in their tracks and go, oh my gosh, I really need to think about that. There's a book I am reading and have been reading this now the second time here. I'm just pulling up on my screen. Can you see that there? It's called,
no, we can't see it.
Oh, really?
No, we can't see it, buddy.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Now we can. Oh, Pitch Anything. I know this book.
Pitch Anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Oren Klaff. And
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he gives some like his templates on how to pitch things and win a deal. So I'm reading that again, and it's really fascinating how he just really encapsulates a pitch. And I think working on the pitch for a nonprofit or a charity would be really useful. So,
right. Yeah, actually, that might be something that would really help in terms of them getting funding, because even though it's all done through kind of these awful paperwork tender processes, I guess what they're putting in those documents is, the messages are what might make the difference.
Sure. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, really get that story down. And then what I went over basically is compelling offer, by the way. So just like that's again where I'm going to say change your offer, change your life. Like just, basically that's would fall under compelling offer. So there you go. Okay. I hope that's helped, Una.
It good? Is. I have one more. Do you want to do?
Oh, sure. Yep. Go. And by the way, we could also use some other questions, guys. So anybody has a question, put your hand up or again, plunk it in the box. But yes, Una, what's your other question?
Awesome. Okay. The other one I've got is a lady who runs a ladies network, and so she's franchised it, and she wants to double the number of franchises she's got over the next year. She is an amazing networker and promoter, I have to say. She's very good at that. I was just wondering, are there any particular, for franchisors, any particular strategies that might be helpful? So she's earning her money partly through what the franchisees pay her, which actually is not a lot, but she also earns money from every person who attends the network as well. So I'm just wondering, any kind of franchisor strategies that might be interesting.
For sure. I want to understand what kind of franchise. I don't understand. What's the unit? What's the unit that they sell? What's the end product?
It's basically networking events.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Like BNI then. It's BNI like that?
Kind of, but it's it's not quite like that. It's just usually it's just one meeting a month. Each franchisor has a specific geographical region. Some of them have 2 or 3 kind of localities within their franchise. So
Yep.
yeah. And then, so she's earning when people buy the franchise, and then every time a person attends an event, she gets a cut of that.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, know this one real well. So first of all, look, what's her point of differentiation? How is she different from BNI? Like, being once a month versus once a week is not a real good, like, what's her different? How is she different?
Okay, so what she says is the fact, so they don't charge attendees a membership. It's a pay as you go. And
that sucks, by the way. This is not good. It's horrific. But anyways, keep going. That's all right.
Right. Yes. And I would say that it's for. She hasn't articulated that in what she said. She's just said free membership and proactive networking, which I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, that's what we call platitudes, but that's okay. Keep going.
Yes, exactly. Having been to her events, they actually, it's the only female networking event I've got business from. Like, I've got multiple clients from this networking group. So, which I haven't got from any other female one. So I would say one of the benefits is that you do get to network with other women, but I think it's like some women's networking events, they're just pants, because they're just like all, handbags and shoes and things, and like people aren't actually networking. She's an amazing relationship builder, so I think she kind of helps people with that, and I think she actually does a lot of connecting people behind the scenes as well. But obviously, as it grows, that's not scalable.
No, exactly. It's talent, and that's not scalable. Okay, so first, and like I get a pretty good sense here, and I would just say this: like, she needs her people to make money, right? How much? What's she selling the franchises for?
It's not a lot. I think just from a previous conversation with her, I think she's only selling it for like $2 or $3 grand.
Okay, so it's not really a franchise, but that's okay. Okay, so nuts and bolts. Her model sucks, like the whole pay as you go. So that needs to go. It needs to be a subscription, or it's not going to work. The end. The second thing, and by the way, I've been wrong before, but I'd be amazed on that one. So you got to convince her that, it needs, like, her people need to have a recurring revenue, right? Like the people who spend the $3 grand, because it's not just about the $3 grand, which is clearly lightweight money, but it's about their time and their focus, and they could be doing something else, right? So, the other thing that I would go to is the unit of sale. Okay. Like, and it sounds to me like the unit of sale is horrifically low. Pay as you go, and 20, 30, 40, 100, like it's hundreds, not thousands, and definitely not tens of thousands from what I hear. And this is a bad thing, right? So you want to have, you know what I mean? Like, you want to have a higher unit of sales. So like in a networking group, I can just tell you, you just take this one to the bank, it'll work. Like, some people just want to spend more. So I bet she doesn't have a $5,000 and $10,000, we'll call it platinum and titanium level membership. And she needs to have that. And some people just want to show off how much money they have. So she should have that. The other thing with franchising, and it's really important, like, let's say I buy a Subway franchise. I will make no money with the Subway franchise. The way I make money with the Subway franchise is that I own 3 franchises within driving distance. So I've got one lot of staff, one lot of inventory, like, the lettuce and tomatoes, etc. One admin, and then I own 3 Subways, and I've got a shot. Mistake people make is that they own 3 Subways, but they can't drive from one to the other. So they really just own 3 individual Subways, so they don't make any money and wonder why. So why I'm telling you that, which is really important, these people that are signing up, she should really encourage them. Like, she should give them first right of refusal on the 2 areas closest to them. And then she
Right.
should really get them operating 3 areas as opposed to 1, because they're not going to make any money with 1. They should own 3.
Right.
So that's another little X factor, a really important part of that most people don't understand. But I don't know. It's important. If you will not make money with 1 subway, you want to own 3. And clearly that's a generalization. If you have a killer location and whatnot, then you can crush it with 1, but that's just not the norm. And again, so if I was going to buy a subway, think about it, like all the areas are taken up. So I'm either going to be out in Whoop Whoop, right, and have to move my family way out there, or I'm going to buy one in a location. But again, so I won't buy it without a reasonable, you know what I mean? Like if I don't feel like I'm going to be able to buy a couple other areas close to this one, it's just probably not something I'm going to undertake. I'm going to take my money and invest it elsewhere because I'll get a better return. So that, I think that, you know, like we'll call it like a trilogy, like a 3 area kind of model, I think is going to make a little bit of sense for the guys that buy it. But the big thing, the subscription model and then raising the unit of sale is going to be absolutely critical. And by the way, you should really, like, you're a platinum client with us. You should sign her up as a client under you using our system. Like you've got the ability, like all platinum clients with us have the ability to put 1 person underneath them. You should take her and like we could become the point of differentiation, right? Because remember, nobody buys it. Ironically enough, my first ever business coach made $330,000 in his first 6 months as a business coach with me. And that's not 12 months, that's 6 months. He owned a networking organization. So what I'm just talking about, I know this thing real well. And like people don't buy networking. What they buy is they're buying a sense of community. They're trying to buy more money. They're trying to buy opportunity, that sort of thing. So, you know, you should deliver it. So they don't really want networking. What they really want is a better business. So that's what she should really sell. And our system could effectively become that. Make sense?
Yes.
So I hope that's helpful. But sorry, Una, we've only got 3 minutes. So if you got another one, shoot it. Or if you need some, any questions on what I just said? No, that's cool. Any questions on what I just said? And Pat, I also would like to hear if you've got anything you want to add.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I got Adrian saying, "Hey, let's go, guys."
Okay, cool. Okay, Una, anything else we can help you with, my love?
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay. Awesome. There we go. Glad we opened up Una. That was good. Hopefully that was good.
I love it.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, Big Al, we're not going to be able to get you today, bud. We got to shut this sucker down. Okay, so appreciate everybody coming. As per always, again, we will be here at Thursday. 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. So be there or be square. Make sure you're there. And again, guys, if you can come armed with some questions, so we open it up and we got some dialogue back and forth. Again, that's what this call was designed for, Q&A on software. Of course, we sometimes go off on a little bit of a tangent and help you guys in different areas like we just did with Una, which we're too happy to do. But the whole idea here, guys, is everybody's learning how to use the software at a higher level. So if you could make sure you come armed with questions, that would be great. But there we go. Pat, my man, anything here before we go? Anything?
No.
All good?
See you guys Thursday. Have a good week.
Do that.